Sturbridge Board of Select Board. We'll begin in open session and then call to order. Pledge of Allegiance, moment of silence, public service announcements, department reports, including the fire department's, town administrator update. And then, we got a long one and I'm out of breath. Consideration and possible action on the posting of a dual warrant for the town election on April 14, 2025, an annual special town meeting of April 28, 2025. Consideration and possible action on the appointment of Nathan Lane as an alternative member of the Conservation Commission. Consideration and possible action on the appointment of Nicholas Scola as an associate member of the Trails Committee. Consideration and possible action on the disclosure by the municipal employee of financial interests in a municipal contract required for Paul Guerin to serve as a part-time police officer in Sturbridge. Consideration and possible action on the appointment of Mr. Paul Guerin as a part-time police officer. Consideration and possible action on the appointment of Lieutenant Joseph Lombardi to Deputy Chief effective March 18th, 2025, with a salary of $123,930 effective July 1st, 2025. Consideration and possible action on the acceptance of a $500 donation from Tech Dynamics IT Services of Westboro, Mass. Consideration and possible action to allow the town administrator to award the bid and enter into a contract with Peter Morello Construction for Cedar Lake Recreation Area ADA Improvement Plan in the amount of $179,451 with an alternative of $188,649,000. Consideration and possible action to allow the town administrator to award the bid and enter into a grant-funded contract with Collins and Sons Excavating in the amount of $280,154 for the Grand Trunk Trail Continuation Project. Consideration and possible action on the Charlton Coalition for Public Health Shared Services Grant. Agreement with the addition of the town of East Brookfield. Consideration and possible action on the transient vendor license for David Ackerman, the service show at the Host Hotel on May 12, 2025. Consideration and possible action on a transient vendor license for Arthur Green Northeast Cutlery Collectors Association at the Sturbridge Host Hotel, May 10th, 2025, September 14th, 2025, and November 16th, 2025. Consideration and possible action to review and vote on the annual town meeting warrant articles. Consideration and possible action to close the annual town meeting warrant articles. Consideration and possible action to review and vote on the special town meeting warrant articles. Consideration and possible action to close the special town meeting warrant articles. Old business, new business, correspondence, approval of minutes, citizens forum, executive session, and then adjournment. So with that, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. You know, considering the crew we got here tonight, I just would like to take a moment of silence and just appreciate all of our public safety officers, fire and police who work so hard for our communities, and just let them know how much we appreciate them here. So please take a moment of silence. Great. Public service announcements. Mary Lou.
Nothing here.
Mary Dowling.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to the Irish. God bless. And to those of us who are not Irish, happy St. Patrick's Day to us too.
All right. So, and I have nothing myself. So, starting with department reports, Chief.
Good evening. I'll be brief. I know that there's not a lot going on tonight, but I'll be brief anyways. So you have my reports for January and February. Our call volume continues to trend as it has. Number of trips to the city continue to tax our resources, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we provide the best service possible. A couple of items of note: we received a grant from the Department of Fire Services for $15,499.99. That money is going to be used to upgrade some of the outdated radio equipment that we have because several of the area communities are changing over to a digital frequency, and our current radio system will not allow us to communicate with them once they do that. So we're going to be upgrading some of our frequencies and some of our radios to digital. We are also expecting within the next few months to receive a secondary grant from DFS for right around $7,500, which we'll use to purchase additional turnout fire equipment. We had our Office of Emergency Medical Services annual inspection last week. I'm happy to say that we passed that with a very minor issue that we have to address that's not going to prevent us from continuing our service. It's a repair issue on one of the ambulances, and that's being taken care of next week. We did host a pumps and hydraulics class in-house. Firefighter Bono put the class together and delivered it so that our personnel would have more training on how to deliver water from the fire truck to the firefighters on scene. So that's a very important task that we feel it needs to be trained on, and Firefighter Bono was able to do that. Lastly, and maybe most importantly, our call people are working out fantastically. The new members have been training on a regular basis in-house, responding to calls, and 3 of them, Firefighter Courtney, Firefighter Tinker, and Firefighter Roderick, are at various stages of receiving their initial certification training through either the Massachusetts Fire Academy or a local department that's putting on a certification class. So, all good news.
Great.
That's all I have.
Questions from the board?
I just had one. The grant that you got, was that enough money to cover all the radios that you wanted to purchase, or are there still some that are not up to date?
We still have some that we're going to, but this covered what we consider the most important first-line apparatus. Yeah.
Great. Anything else? All right, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Good night.
All right, Robin.
Yep, I will be brief because we have other stuff going on. I did apply to the One Stop. I submitted an expression of interest, which is what they do now to sort of vet grants before you go through the work of applying completely. And so I submitted to One Stop an expression of interest for funding for the Street or Beach project. They give grants up to $500,000 through MassWorks. I got a somewhat positive response from them, indicating that I should take it to the next step. So it'd be great if we can get some funding. That would be something I might eventually bring to CPC, but the more funding I can get from other sources, the better. And that continues to progress. I'm now in the process of trying to reach out to the other abutter. Everything's worked through with Mr. Argytis. He's willing to close one of his exits and work with us on partnering to make this work.
Great.
Coffee and conversation. I attended last week with our conservation agent. We were joined by town representatives from Concom, Open Space, and also Mass Fish and Wildlife came, as well as OPACOM. Lauren Vivier, our conservation conservation agent, is working on putting together an educational series. And I say this for the public because it also is going to involve not just direct conservation education, but anybody who's interested in putting their land into conservation or protecting it and looking at the long term once they pass away, so that there aren't controversies over if there were three children when someone dies and what was the will of the parent and how do you protect your land if you want it permanently put into protected capacity. So we may be looking to run some things at the library about, putting your land into trust, how to protect it, and look at the long range of conservation and open space protection. Also, I want to thank a resident, Mr. Gil Crispian, came to me last fall, very concerned about the intersection of 15 and 84. I work with the police department. We got numbers on accidents and issues over there. That is an area that's probably going to receive some changing as we move to extend the trail over there and the walking path. But in the short term, Mr. Crispy was very concerned. He'd been in an accident. There have been several other accidents. There was one fatality there, I think, that we had, and one further up the road. As a result of his efforts and him really working with me on it, we worked forward, took it to DOT. Rep. Smola joined us in the effort. And we're going to see some major changes at that intersection. So I just kind of want to point that out because it's so nice. I always talk about municipal government being where a person can make a difference. And here's a case where one gentleman just was relentless with me, and he was right. He was right. And so we worked on it, and we will start seeing something as a result, direct result of Mr., as I put it, his tenacity and determination to enhance it. We like tenacity. Sometimes we say, but you know what, this guy really was on it, and he was right, and it's kind of what it's all about. So I wanted to share that with you. Also, we did receive over $250,000 in green communities again, to continue on with that. So that's it.
Good news. All right, any questions for Robin?
I just have one. On the One Stop grant, the first step is an expression of interest.
Yes.
And then you file an official grant
Yes.
application.
Then I'll file it official, yes.
So I just don't know that much about One Stop. How many grants do they give each year?
What Mass did was they consolidated through One Stop a large group of their grant programming, Mass Works, Mass Trails, and it has all different branches that it goes off on. So it's probably hundreds and hundreds of grants because it covers 4 or 5 different grant areas. And then within this area that I was looking at, some of it was housing grants, some of it was infrastructure. In this case, I put this through as sort of a recreational / community, because they want things that are community-based, housing and community-based. This year is where they're focusing, but what I emphasized was that this was a community-based project.
Got it.
And it was an infrastructure project as far as I'm concerned. It's a dirt access path, that's infrastructure.
So when you fill out the application, is that good for all the different grants? Or do you have to do individual applications for each one that falls within One Stop?
So if I had different ones, I would have to do individual
You
ones.
still would.
but-
So it's not really one-stop shopping?
Well, it is for this project, so it's one stop. If I have 5 different things that I want to apply for, I apply for them, but they might all go into different pots. So this one, they kicked back to me and they said, okay, this will go in our rural communities, blah, 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 pot.
Okay, but you're not,
And then if I
you're
had
not
some.
getting grants from all those different?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
But I could apply for multiple grants for different areas. So if I had something in housing that we saw
Right.
directly.
But
that
Streeter
fit.
Beach is just the recreational
Yes,
community grant?
it's got community and infrastructure is where we
Okay,
are.
Thank you.
Rural, and it's the rural category.
Okay,
So we qualify for that.
nice.
Anything, Marilyn? Okay, great, Robin, anything else?
Nope.
All right, we are moving on to action items, starting with consideration and possible action on the posting of a dual warrant for the town election on April 14th, 2025, and annual special town meeting on April 28th, 2025. Lynn, do you want me just to read out the warrant here, or? Okay, so I'm just gonna, just so for the people at home know, the election is on for April 14th, from 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're gonna be at the Host Hotel this year. And there's positions for the Board of Selectmen, Board of Assessors, Sturbridge School Committee, two for the Tantasco School Committee, 1 for Constable, 1 for Board of Health, 2 for Rec Committee, 2 for Zoning Board of Appeals, 2 for Library Trustees, 1 for Town Clerk, and this will, and then in the name of the Commonwealth, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of said town qualified to vote in the annual town meeting and in town affairs to meet at the Tantascwa Regional High School Auditorium in said Sturbridge on Monday, the 28th of April, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the evening. Then and there to act on the following articles: annual town meeting articles 1 to Article 46, and special town meeting articles 43 to 48. So please, everybody, vote on the 14th of April, and please attend the town meeting on April 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. So with that, do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor? Great. All right, so then we are moving on to consideration and possible action on the appointment of Nathan Lane as an alternate member of the Conservation Commission.
So Mr. Lane had expressed an interest, as has one other person. Both people met with Lauren, spent some time with her. Mr. Lane's also on our Trails Committee, and comes highly recommended, and we're looking at, right now, an associate position. There's very likely a permanent position that's going to be opening up on conservation. If all works out and Mr. Lane likes it, we're hopeful that that will be a natural progression. And then the other person who had expressed interest, who also was a very good candidate, will likely move into an associate spot. So we'll be able to have 2 people coming in and over the next couple months.
Great. Questions for Nate?
Didn't we appoint an alternate member?
She went on to the board.
She's moved on to the board, yep.
Full.
So we've had some, yep, Flora went on.
Yeah. So, anything else?
I think it's great you want to do it because conservation is a big time-consuming, as is are the trails. I mean, you keep our trails in fantastic shape.
Yeah, and I'm in a unique spot where I work remotely, have a lot of flexibility, and yeah, it's been past 2 years on the Trails Committee have been great, and I've worked with conservation here and in other towns, and yeah, something I'm
Nice.
interested in contributing to, so
Seems
appreciate
like
the
a good
opportunity.
fit.
Yeah. All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Nathan Lane as alternate member of the Conservation Commission.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thanks, Nate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right. Moving on to consideration and possible action on the appointment of Nicholas Skokola, if I'm saying that correctly, as associate member of the Sturbridge Trails Committee.
So Nick comes highly recommended from the Trails Committee. He's been an active volunteer, does a lot of work for us on the trails, and is expressing an interest to move into a more official capacity as an associate member of Trails. Brandon Goodwin from Trails has recommended him highly, and so I will carry that recommendation forward to all of you.
All right, questions from the board?
No.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Nicholas Sokol as associate member of the Sturbridge Trails Committee.
Second.
All those in favor? So that was painless. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Nick.
volunteering your time.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Consideration and possible action on the disclosure of municipal employee of financial interest in a municipal contract required for Paul Gurin to serve as a part-time police officer in Sturbridge.
Do you want to vote on that first?
Yes.
Yeah,
We
so-
probably should vote on this first.
Yeah, I think we have to. So
Yeah.
basically, then, it's, I don't even really see it exactly being a conflict of interest, but, so I guess because you're holding a position as the assistant principal in Burgess, we're just notifying the Commonwealth that you'll also be acting as a part-time police officer and receiving compensation separately thereon, so. It doesn't seem very controversial to me, but we appreciate the above board disclosure. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, so then we are moving on to consideration of possible action on the appointment of Mr. Paul Guerin as part-time police officer. Just not busy enough?
Love Sturbridge.
Good evening. I'm pleased to recommend Paul Gurin for an appointment as a part-time police officer. Mr. Gurin brings a wealth of experience to this role, making him an outstanding candidate for this position. With part-time police experience dating back to 2011, Mr. Gurin has demonstrated steadfast commitment to public safety and community service. Beyond his law enforcement experience, Mr. Gurin holds a master's degree in education, administration, and a bachelor's degree in philosophy. Mr. Gurin is currently the assistant principal at Burgess Elementary School and has been since 2009. Is that right? 2009? 2019. My glasses are not. The Sturbridge Police Department has been very interactive with Mr. Gurin over the years. He's always demonstrated professionalism and integrity, and it reflects the qualities that we expect from our law enforcement officers. His background in education further emphasizes his ability to communicate effectively, de-escalate situations, and foster positive working relationships with the community. Given Mr. Gurin's experience, leadership qualities, and commitment to serving others, I recommend Mr. Gurin for the appointment effective March 18, 2025, at a rate of $37.37 per hour. I have no doubt that he will be serve a very professional capacity and be dedicated to the position, making a positive impact in this role. I've attached his cover letter and resume for your review.
All right, questions or comments?
I'll just comment that I've gotten to know Mr. Guerin. I do a lot of substitute teaching at Burgess. Why, I'm not totally sure all the time. No, and I think he's going to be a big asset to our town. I agree with everything you wrote, Chief, in the memo to us.
I agree as well.
All right, well, with that, do we have a motion?
I'll make it a motion to appoint Mr. Paul Guerin as part-time police officer for the town of Sturbridge.
Second.
All those in favor? Welcome aboard.
Hey, Paul. See you in the morning. Yes.
Congratulations, Paul.
All right, moving on to action item F, which is consideration and possible action on the appointment of Lieutenant Joseph Lombardi to Deputy Chief effective March 18th, 2025, with a salary of $123,930, effective July 1st, 2025. Chief?
Thanks. I'm a little warm in this suit, as you can tell. I'm pleased to recommend the promotion of Lieutenant Joseph Lombardi to Deputy Chief. This is a well-needed position that has not existed in the department for well over 30 years, and its reinstatement will greatly enhance our leadership structure. Lieutenant Lombardi has been a dedicated member of the Sturbridge Police Department for 24 years, demonstrating exceptional leadership and professionalism. He holds a master's degree in criminal justice, and he has completed extensive leadership training, including courses at Roger Williams University and the FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development Association. This earned him the Trilogy Award. Most recently, he graduated from the prestigious FBI National Academy Section 292. Throughout his time as the administrative lieutenant, Lieutenant Lombardi has played a vital role in policy development, operational improvements, and major incident management. His ability to lead with integrity, mentor officers, and foster strong community relationships makes him the ideal candidate for this role. I'm confident Lieutenant Lombardi's experience and vision will serve the Sturbridge well. I recommend Lieutenant Lombardi for this position effective March 18th, 2025, with a starting base salary of $123,930, effective July 1st, 2025. In accordance with standard promotional procedures, this position will have a 6-month probationary period.
If I could just follow up, I had a wonderful interview with the lieutenant, future deputy chief, with the will of this board, last week or the week before, and I really, what I found so impressive, I said to him, if somebody from Sturbridge says to me, what does a deputy chief do? Why do we need a deputy chief? How do you define that? And he just nailed that answer and talked a lot about how that it helps the department structurally. It adds, for the chief, it adds some cohesion, and he really nailed what the importance of that position is, as opposed to simply, it's just a title. He looks at it as a true change in structure to the department and an improvement and a streamlining of the department. And I'm really very excited about this change. I think it's so positive for the organization, and I think he's a great person to lead that for the first time in 30 some odd years, to be able to take that position and define it. It's really hard to walk into a new position because you do have to define it, and he clearly had vision for that. So I just want to share that I was really impressed with.
Well, I'm going to add on to that and say I've known Joe pretty much my whole life. I mean, there's not many people I can say I've literally known my whole life. And he's always been a kind person with great integrity. And that what's so special about Joe, wouldn't matter what he was doing, he would do the best at it, because he's just that guy. And that he is a police officer and that he has chosen law enforcement is, it just brings our community forward in a really remarkable way. We're just so proud of you, Joe.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate the kind words.
So, anything else?
He's tough to follow, but I echo everybody's sentiments. I can't think of a
You
better
haven't known him
person.
your whole life.
I have not known him, but I can't think of a better person to be, promoted. I love when we promote from within, and I'm happy for Chief Dessert that he has a deputy chief.
Thank you.
I think
Thank
that's
you,
good
Mary.
for the department and good for management as well, and the union.
Thank you.
I've known Joe a very long time, not going to say how many years, but always found it a pleasure to work with him, and his professionalism and integrity is to be commended.
Thank you, Mary Lou. I appreciate that.
All right, so we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Lieutenant Joseph Lombardi to Deputy Chief effective March 18th, 2025, with a salary of $123,930, effective July 1st, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner, I'd just like to pin his badge on him, a new badge, and then get a picture with the board and the town administrator.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
trust him.
Don't worry, you have paramedics in the room.
Somebody give him a chair.
Nice. Deputy Chief. Thank you, Mary. Of course, of course. So happy to have you. We mean it, too.
Robin, thank you for your
Awesome.
continued support. I appreciate it.
You want a picture of?
Yeah, please.
Oh, boy.
This is Jill.
Come on in.
Oh, well, take one out.
Yeah, we should have.
Take one without, and then.
You sure?
Yeah, and then
And it didn't come on, Mike.
pop it now.
I'm not getting fresh.
Take one of all.
All right, run it down. This is my rush.
Oh,
Couldn't
there
tell.
we go.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No,
families
no,
that would say-
no, no, it's so Irish.
Awesome, thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate it. Thanks again, appreciate it.
All right. Moving on.
Thank you, have a good night.
Happy
Chief, thank you. Yeah, be safe, everybody.
Places you want to go at this point.
Thanks, guys. All right. We are moving on to consideration and possible action on the acceptance of a $500 donation from Tech Dynamics IT Services of Westboro, Mass.
I have nothing to add to that except thank you.
All right, do we have a motion to accept with our gratitude?
I'll make the motion to accept the $500 donation from Tech Dynamics IT Services of Westboro, Mass.
Second.
You want to come up to the mic? Sorry, I don't mean to be difficult, just so people at home can hear.
I was just curious about when the town receives donations. I mean, somebody just walks in the door and says, we want to give this money?
Sometimes. Yeah, community partners, sometimes we have people donate, who are seniors who had a good experience, or somebody who's gone through rescue services, for example, and so, yeah, sometimes we get random, sometimes businesses will donate, but again, if it's a business and it has an interest in the town, it has to go to the town collectively.
Okay.
And not
I
to
was
the-
curious about this one, too.
I don't know the genesis of this, or,
What do they do? They're an IT, I don't even know what they,
did you who submitted that one? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't usually ask.
I think it just goes
It was
into our
police,
general
yeah.
fund,
It
right,
was-
unless it's earmarked?
But it was connected to the police department, this one, for some reason.
Yeah, the typical ones will have,
Oh, wait, we have the
for
memo.
the senior center, the amount of $500.
Yeah, we have the
You know,
memo.
usually there's a random.
Yeah, yeah, it came from Earl.
This is mostly just taking it, and so what happens is then we write a letter thanking them for their.
Yeah,
Yeah.
community policing.
Yep.
It was
Great.
support
community
community
policing.
policing, yep.
Yeah, and so we'll just write a letter thanking them.
Yep.
Did we vote on that one?
No.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. It's a good question, though.
Say
Considerate,
no, though. I never say no. Thank you.
well, I'm sure there probably would be a line.
There could be a line on who's donating, yeah.
But, okay.
Okay.
Consideration and possible action to allow the town administrator to award the bid and enter into a contract with Peter Amorello Construction for the Cedar Lake Recreation Area ADA Improvement Plan in the amount of $179,4510 with an alternative of $188,6490.
Yep, so this is for the ADA compliance. Because of timing on this, I need you to approve to authorize me to sign the contract so we can keep it moving in time, because we don't meet again until April 7th, and we need to be well underway on the work on this. So it just got awarded, it just got opened Thursday. We'll send a notice of award once you approve tonight. Well within the numbers, we had about 12 or 13 bidders, so very
And
pleased
is
with that.
was this ARPA money? Is this that one?
This is, well, it started with ARPA for the design services,
Gotcha.
and now it's CPC money that voted at special town meeting in January,
Right.
Okay, thank you for that.
a
Okay.
year ago, January.
So in the, okay, so those are the different bid
Yep.
amounts. That makes sense. Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. It's good that that's moving along.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
I should make it a lot safer over there.
Yeah, and the playground, the actual equipment's already here, we just, once this is just grading work and site work, and we're very excited about that.
Also, it'll be ready, should be ready for the summer? Oh, great. All right, moving on to action item I. Consideration and possible action to allow the town administrator to award the bid and enter into a grant-funded contract with Collins and Sons Excavating in the amount of $280,154 for the Grand Trunk Trail Continuation Project.
So similar situation, I just need the authorization to move this forward so we can keep going. This was, we had about 18 bids on this one, and they ranged all over the place. We got references, Heather got confirmation. We spoke with even Army Corps, recommended, supported in reference to this particular.
And what part of the trail is this one?
Oh, gosh, you can.
It's okay if you can't. I mean,
Yeah,
you can
I'm
show
so
it.
confused on what part of the trails we're looking at.
I think it's gonna pick up.
This is,
From
This is
Farquhar
the
Road.
yeah, this is the far
continuation.
part, yeah,
Close to
this is
Farquhar.
that one, where we have all the easements done and everything else,
Yeah,
so this is the next on
This will
that part.
push it through
Yeah.
out to
Yeah.
where we were talking about before.
The
on
15
15. and-
entrance,
yeah.
right. Yep, that's that section.
That makes sense. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to allow the town administrator to award the bid and enter into a grant-funded contract with Collins and Son Excavating in the amount of $280,154 for the Grand Trunk Trail Continuation Project.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. All right, moving on to action item J, consideration and possible action on the Charlton Coalition for Public Health Shared Services Grant Agreement with the addition of Town of East Brookfield.
So Ken indicated that you've already signed this shared services, they are adding East Brookfield.
That's it?
And none of the other communities have had an issue with it, so that it's just about adding East Brookfield.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the Charlton Coalition for Public Health Service Shared Services Grant Agreement with the addition of the town of East Brookfield.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. All right, moving on. Consideration and possible action on the transient vendor license for David Ackerman, the Sturbridge show at the Host Hotel, May 12th, 2025. I think we, okay, so it is a Sturbridge show. I don't remember this. Any issues?
No. Yeah, yep,
Um,
this is the antiques
And
and
the chief is
textile.
fine with it?
Yep. Everybody's good.
Do you have any questions from the board?
No.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the transient vendor license for Arthur Green Northeast Cutlery Collectors Association at the Sturbridge Host Hotel, May 10th, 2025.
I think you went
Yeah,
one
that's the wrong
pass.
one, yep.
Oh,
We're looking for David Ackerman.
oh, sorry.
No, it's understandable.
I make a motion, we approve the transient vendor license for David Ackerman, the Sturbridge Show at the Host Hotel, May 12th, 2025.
All right, all those in favor? Do we have a second? Strike that?
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor? All right, great, thank you. Okay, moving on, consideration of possible action on a transient vendor license for Arthur Green Northeast Cutlery Collectors Association at the Sturbridge Host Hotel on May 10th, 2025, September 14th, 2025, and November 16th, 2025. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? The chief signature too. Okay,
Now comes the fun part.
okay. Consideration and possible action to review and vote on the annual town meeting ordinance.
So you have two new versions that I left out in front of you.
Okay.
Today? Yep.
So these are the April,
Yep,
how
the
would I
ones
tell
in the
which one's
packet
which?
have some changes. No, you won't unless you look closely.
So
So
look at
use the ones that I left out in front of you.
Just put
today.
those over there in
Those
case
are,
I
yep,
screw up.
exactly, that's what I did with mine, I put mine over there. So what I'll do is,
Which one was
as we
which?
go through, I'll point out the differences, if there anything changed that was earth-shattering. Most of the things that changed from the last version you had were just Scribner-type changes. The special, we added an article, or an article or two that we needed to add. So, what you'll be doing tonight is voting these articles. The water sewer, you will not vote tonight because we don't have those numbers. We're just waiting on Barbara to get those to us. And you'll close, and then we'll reopen another night, April 7th, let's say. But the reason I want to close this now is because FinCom's working its way through these, and it'd be good to have recommendations too.
Sure.
So we'll close tonight with whatever ones you vote. If there are some you don't want to vote tonight, or you can't, like the water sewer, we just hold them and we reopen the warrant to do it. But at least this way we have a closed warrant that we're working with. going
Yeah,
forward.
even if they're not complete, if we can always open or close the warrant, so.
Absolutely. But this way it's closed, because if I wait till April 7th, it's too late to.
No, makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Okay, so let's begin in the beginning. Article 1, town reports. Any questions? Right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we place and support Article 1, Town Reports.
Wait a second.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, moving to community preservation report. Community Preservation Committee report, excuse me. Seems pretty straightforward. Do we have a motion?
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Is the most updated one the explanatory box at the bottom of page 1 or at the top of page 2?
Top of page 2.
Okay. Oh,
That's the way to tell.
all right. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept Article 2, the Community Preservation Committee report.
You mean place and support?
Pardon?
Place and support? The motion has to
Yes.
say place and support.
Or, yes.
All right, great. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Okay. Now getting to more specifics. Article 3, Community Preservation Fund
This
Reserve.
is a new article that apparently we should have been putting this in throughout the years, and Jonathan noticed last year at the meeting that we had not been. So this is a sort of pro forma to show that we're using 10% of blah, 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 broken down the way that our legislation broke it down.
Gotcha.
So this is a pro forma type article.
Okay, so meaning
We have to put it in.
102 for open space, 102 for historic resources, and 102 and 40 for community housing. So
It just
those are
codifies the way we break it down officially.
So in the past, we haven't been showing that the 3, but it's been placed. where
Done
it
right,
should.
it has been done
Okay.
correctly,
Just-
but
I
not
just wanted to
not
state
voted.
that for the
Yes,
record.
but it has not been voted publicly. Yeah.
So do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we place and support Article 3.
For a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Okay, moving on, Article 4, to see if the town will vote to appropriate from the Community Preservation Fund undesignated fund balance a sum of $30,000. Be allocated for purposes of operating administrative expenses in FY 2026 for the Community Preservation Committee.
This went up slightly from last year, I think 5,000, but nothing dramatic.
Okay, any questions about
It's $5,000 different?
More
Is
than
that what
last
you
year,
said?
yeah.
North?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to place and support Article 4, Community Preservation Administration Funds.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Yeah, ayes have it. Okay. Moving on to Article 5, Community Preservation Debt Service. For the record, I'll just do a rundown. It's $56,100 for the purposes of paying debt on the OSV land acquisition, $35,700 for the purpose of debt service for the Heinz Farm acquisition, $24,750 for the purpose of debt service for the Recreation Court project, $81,750 for debt servicing of the Town Hall and Center Office renovation project, and then $208,000 for the $208,000 for the purpose of debt service for the senior center.
And that was what got added from what you had over the weekend.
Okay. All right, any questions?
Is it in a special order?
Hmm?
Is this in any special order? I didn't know if that went from the oldest debt to the.
I don't believe so. I think actually the.
Because I think
um,
OSB is the oldest.
It
right?
may
The
be.
Senior Center is the newest, but
It is the newest, but that was just because it got added this
Oh,
year. But I do think the town hall is coming off within the year, so I know some of this is rolling off soon.
Yeah.
Maybe the town hall's older than OSB.
I think the town hall is older.
Okay.
That I don't know. Okay, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to place and support Article 5, Community Preservation Debt Service.
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Again, Article 6, Community Preservation Gravestone Restoration, $9,500 for the purpose of historic preservation and restoration work in North Cemetery and/or the old burial ground. Do we have a motion or any comment?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 6, Community Preservation Gravestone Restoration.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor? Yeah, I
Did
said.
we do this last year
Yes.
as well? Yeah. Is this about the same?
Fanny Lara, same amount of money, yeah. The couple, Minxie, I hope I can never say her name.
Yeah.
Some names I can never spit out. And they provide that big book that I leave out on the table for a month or two for people to look at the work.
Great. And then moving to Article 7, Community Preservation, CPA, Property General Trail Enhancements. The amount of $53,000 for the general purpose of trail enhancements as presented by the Trails Committee, including incidental costs. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 7, Community Preservation CPA Property General Trail Enhancements.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? And we are getting feedback somewhere.
We are.
Check, 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 check. It's mine.
You.
I mean, I'm fully supportive of this, but do we know roughly what enhancements we're going to be using?
This is the general, when they order gravel and, you know, things like that. This is the annual budget line. They can't call it restoration or renovation. It has to be called enhancement. It has to be some,
Okay, but they're not building like an additional
no,
bridge
this is,
or
no, this is,
anything?
no, this is
just the
separate. This is just the
maintenance?
regular maintenance. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, Article 8, Community Preservation 4698 Trail and Bridge Project. This is the town will appropriate $2,245,000 constructing a trail and bridge at 469A Main Street to connect the trail and the parking lot located at 501 Main. And yeah, so this is basically to connect our trails to Main Street and the parking lot there. Is that fair?
Yeah, so this is that really neat sort of economic development project that's a combination of economic development, recreation, trails, where we built the parking lot. This will connect the trail system in a very unique way to the Route 20 corridor. This had originally started with some design work from Worcester Polytech students. It expanded out and had more design work done on that. We've actually started some borings through original money that we had to begin the work. We are hoping to get some Mass Trails grants for it at some point, but typically it's harder to get that funding through Mass Trails unless the project has already been approved, and then we can offset some of the costs through Mass Trails. But I think this is a really unique project. It's good for Sturbridge residents, obviously. People use the trails, they can walk over, have a cup of coffee or whatever. But it's also unique for people who come to Sturbridge to be able to go out, you know, have a bite to eat in an afternoon or an early evening, go for a walk on a trail. It's right off the parking lot back there. I think it's pretty exciting, and I know, you know, it's certainly a large amount of money, but it did have the support of CPC. Certainly Trails is on board. There were some questions at FinCom about maintenance, but this bridge isn't going to require, all our trails require huge maintenance, so it's not going to require any more than pretty much what we're already doing. And with the core volunteers we have, I think everybody's pretty confident that we can do what's necessary for maintenance on this. But it is sort of a unique thing for Sturbridge to have such a rural setting right along a major corridor. And that's something unique to our town in many ways. And to be able to take advantage of that is kind of nice. So.
Well, and it's in line with the investments we're making in Fiskdale. because those restaurants down there are a major driver of the tax base, and that just from if your rapscallion wants to do a trail run, that everybody comes back to the place afterwards. I mean, that stuff you can't do that anywhere with a parking lot and access, easy highway access. So, it's precisely the type of pro-economy investment this town, an infrastructure investment this town should be making. And I think over a long duration of, 10, 20, 30 years, it'll more than pay for itself. So I think it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, no, I support it. We've waited for a number of years to try to find a way to bring together our economic base and our beautiful hiking trails so that, people who come here for quality of life reasons could then also go and buy a burger. But you know what I would stress to the people too, because it's not, I know it's in the explanatory box, but the 2.2 million, I shouldn't say we're only borrowing, but really half is coming from borrowing. The other half is coming from the CPC.
Yes.
So we're borrowing 1.2.
And it's 1.2 that CPC's borrowing, not on the town debt service out of the operating budget.
Okay, that also should be
That's-
stressed at
yes,
town meeting?
yes.
Because it wasn't,
This had to be written,
Absolutely.
so the bond council wrote this, we have to be really careful with this with the borrowing, but we will make sure, and I talked to FinCom at length about this too. The other thing to note about that borrowing is that if we were to get grants, it will come right off that borrowing.
Right.
But again, it's CPC debt service, it absolutely impacts nobody's tax rate. CPC doesn't go up because of it, you're not paying more taxes, it's not a debt exclusion like the senior center where somebody's gonna see an additional bill. There is absolutely no impact. The only impact it has is how much CPC can borrow. And they're obviously prioritizing borrowing here is something they're comfortable with.
Well, this actually might be a positive tax impact over
Well, in the long
a
run, sure.
long-term period of time.
Sure.
If we
Meals
execute, again,
investments.
and that always requires execution, right? Like, we gotta do it, right? If we have it, having it isn't enough, right? Like, it has to happen. So easier said than done, I guess. But, all right, I'm gonna make a motion to place and support Article 8.
second.
All those in favor?
And did we exhaust how much help we can get from students with all
Yeah,
of this
yes, we did. We're now at the level that we need
professional
final
license?
design work. As I said, we've already done some of the surveys, the borings. We're already started with the money that we've already used toward this. We've already put other money toward this. And so now it's really construction and shovel ready.
Great.
But if we can do that, we'll be shovel ready for these Mass Trails grants.
Great.
Right.
All those in favor? Great. All right, moving on. Article 9, Community Preservation Grand Trunk Trail Extension. The town will vote to raise $38,000 for the purpose of engineering and permitting the 800-foot section of the Grand Trunk Trail on the Riverlands parcel.
This is all part of that same area, and that summary box is a little bit weak because I did not know specifics on it, and I just fill that in to hold. The original one you had from last was the wrong summary box. It was actually a copy and paste error. But yes, just another section, an 800-foot section that's going to involve some major cleanup.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 9, Community Preservation Grand Trunk Trail Extension.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, moving on, Article 10, $60,000 for the continuing historic town historic survey, including all incidental costs related. Any questions?
Could you just explain this a little bit more?
This is when they go through and look at all of our buildings and what they want to identify as part of our historic preservation plan. It's under Jean Boubon. It does not impact what people can, like colored people can paint their houses and things like that. It's more of an inventorying and a looking at what we want to consider in preservation for community fiber and fabric.
Do we do this survey, or do we hire out?
I believe we have a
for the
consultant
survey
do
to
it,
be
yeah.
done,
Yeah,
right?
and it goes through Historic District Commission.
Okay,
All right, do we have a motion?
Yeah, we went out to bid for that.
okay.
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 10, the Community Preservation Town Historic Survey.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, Article 11, Community Preservation Affordable Housing Trust. The vote to appropriate $361,150 for the Affordable Housing Trust. Questions or comments?
What was it last? What,
I don't recall the numbers, 200 change, 146 last year, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, well, I don't know if
Yeah.
it was exactly 146, but it
But
was.
that range, it's,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that was to start the housing trust, and now.
Bring in
we're-
our
and-
part-time person as
And bring
well.
in staff, and then get the plans in place, and now this is the.
In programming
actual
money.
appropriation.
Yep, yeah, some programming money.
All right, any questions or concerns?
No.
We have a motion?
Make a motion to place and support Article 11, Community Preservation Affordable Housing Trust.
All right, do we have a second?
second.
All those in favor? Yes. All right, Article 12, Community Preservation Survey to continue Grand Trunk Trail. Town will appropriate $14,700 for the purpose of funding a survey to continue the Grand Trunk Trail along the OSCV access road out to I-84 off on Shattuck Road.
Yeah, this is just a survey to try to figure out which is the best way to get around through there right now.
Okay. That makes sense. All right, do we have a motion?
Make a motion to place and support Article 12, Community Preservation Survey to continue Grand Trunk Trail.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. All right. Article 13, Community Preservation Restoration of Revolutionary War Veterans Gravestones. This is $1,500 for the Revolutionary War Veterans Gravestones in the Old Burial Ground Cemetery.
Once you remove that vegetation, once you get through that initial cleaning, it stays clean and continues to clean. The stuff they use actually has like a treatment to it that protects the stone and continues to keep the vegetation off.
Okay.
Who is going to be doing that?
Wally Hersey's involved in this, primarily in a group of volunteers, and we've looked into who can do it, how they can do it. They're trained to do it, so Wally's running through people that do this, a training program on how to do it properly.
Okay.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 13, Community Preservation Restoration of Revolutionary War Veterans Gravestones.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. Article 14, Community Preservation North Cemetery Gravestone Surface Restoration. $3,000 for the surface restoration of stones in the North Cemetery, including incidental costs.
Similar situation, gravestone restoration with the volunteers.
Yeah, and so so these are specific, the reason this is a separate line item from the initial one is that's general, and these are specific stones they're focused on?
So the first one is specifically for Revolutionary
Revolutionary, yeah.
War, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's, it may require some special treatment or work,
Oh, because of the age.
because of the age of them.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so there's something,
There's a distinguishing factor that the experts know more than I do.
okay, that's fine.
Quick question.
Of course, yeah.
The Sturbridge Gravestone Keepers, a volunteer organization.
Yes.
How many people are on it? When did it form? And I don't,
I don't know, it's an informal name they've given themselves. They are just a group of volunteers who go out, and again, they're undergoing some basic training to do this. We've looked into if there should be waivers and things like that, but it really is just a group of people who go out and clean the stones.
Half of them are on committees.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And I will remind you, we do now have the Memorials and Monuments Committee, that
Yeah.
everything that's going on
that's
now
what I was
runs
gonna
through that.
ask.
That
Are they
committee
a
is,
branch of that committee?
No.
Or they, so
No.
they're not even a committee?
no, they're not a committee, they're not a committee.
So they don't have to do open meeting, they
No,
just get
no,
together?
they're just a
when-
group of people who go on a weekend and clean gravestones together.
Yeah,
Volunteers in this town, it's actually a wonderful thing.
yeah, we should probably, well, Wally's on the monuments thing too anyways, but we should probably bring this in a little tighter, just so nobody break, I don't know what the bad part could be. I'm not worried about insurance or anything, it's
Right.
just.
That was
if
my
we're
question,
spending-
actually. That was-
Yeah, but if we're spending funds, and again, I'm more comfortable in this particular instance than I would be otherwise, because Wally's already on the planning board, Wally's already on the monuments committee,
So
and
we-
it's all being driven through him.
Yes.
But it does seem like if we're line iteming it, there should be and these are relatively discreet.
Yeah.
But it seems like we should have
Yeah.
it just be a
All
little
of
more
the
structured.
all of the materials are stored at DPW, nobody's allowed to take them home, so we do monitor the purchase of the material and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
worried about it
yeah.
for the.
I didn't get too crazy with what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, I generally, I can entirely see how this would be the type of thing that would just sort of be relatively informal because of the nature of it, but we probably should.
And as I
agree.
said, the Memorial and Monuments Committee is aware of all of these things now going on. That's why we
Yeah.
have that.
I agree with Jamie, though, it's probably not this, but this is definitely not gonna raise any eyebrows, but anytime a group of volunteers gets together, it's better to funnel it through a committee.
Yeah.
I think that's already, right?
Yeah,
Because otherwise,
Or entirely separate it like we did with the garden,
right.
right? Like it's right, even though it's on our land, it's not part, but that's not,
I-
again, this is not a
They gave themselves a
criticism.
name, which I didn't know until I saw the summary box.
I-
All I knew is people
No,
got
I
together
think
and
it's
did
great
it,
that
so.
people are willing to do it.
I didn't realize they had sort
I
of
think I
given
might be a
themselves a
member.
name. You might be. I'm not sure that anybody knows if they are or not. They just, all of a sudden, when the
But-
summary box came
but-
to me, it came with that, and I
but-
thought, oh, they named themselves.
Yeah, and that's all good, but that is also the point we're making is that we need that fleshed out on the back end on it. So, I don't think it's a big deal for this, and I will say the same at town meeting should it come up, but going forward, let's get that addressed. Okay, and then, $6,045 to restore the historic Hyde Family Bible and this digitization of specific pages of the Bible.
Wait a minute, we didn't vote on Article 14.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just jumped out the conversation. Do we have a motion on Article 14?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 14, Community Preservation North Cemetery Gravestone Surface Restoration.
And do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Article 15, Community Preservation, Restoration of the Historic High Family Bible, again, $6,045. So this is a family Bible from 1860 from the Hyde family. Request to the public library, and this will be displayed in the library. So,
Yes.
questions from the board? Comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 15, Community Preservation Restoration of the Historic Hyde Family Bible.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great.
So is this available, right, like, where is this Bible right
I don't
now?
know where it is now. I just know that there are portions of it, they're very concerned about it deteriorating. So I doubt it's all that publicly accessible right now. I think the goal is to clean it up so that it can be displayed publicly.
I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's everything should be preserved. Okay, we voted on that one, now, right? Yeah. All right, so, all right, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of money as may be necessary to pay town charges for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and vote to fix salary and compensation of all elected officials of the town in accordance with the provisions of MGL's Chapter 41, Section 108, effective July 1st, 2025, or take any action thereof. Any questions, comments?
No?
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 16, the town budget.
Oh, go ahead, you second, and then I'll have discussion.
No, I was gonna ask for a second.
Well, I'm going to abstain from the school portion because I do some substitute teaching, so you might have to wait to approve that when you have more of a quorum.
I mean, you've disclosed that, right?
Yeah, well, I disclosed it here, but I usually just abstain from that portion of the budget. And then I vote at town meeting as a resident, but I don't usually,
I mean, if you've made a disclosure, I can't see.
I don't know
how-
if I made a disclosure at the town clerk, so I think we need to hold out on the,
Is that gonna create an issue?
No,
Okay.
right?
no.
So can you amend it to just be the
Because
town budget?
it's already actually
absent
gone
the-
through FinCom and been voted by FinCom.
I think
so it's
years
not
ago
tying
when I
anything.
started something, yeah, you could disclose or just abstain, and I just chose the route to abstain, just because some substitute teaching salaries are in there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Only because it's the budget, am I a little concerned about holding too long.
yeah, I'm,
Well, you can't hold for 2 weeks on it?
3 weeks, we don't meet till April 7th.
I mean, I guess I could vote out of necessity if you think
I
that's
could,
necessary.
I mean, we could hold, or we could do a quick special virtual.
no, this is, first of all, you disclosed on the record already, you're working as a substitute teacher. I mean,
Right.
That is not,
And you don't vote, oh, you only vote the whole school budget? You're not voting any line item directly related to you? You're voting a.
Like I said, I typically
Yeah.
abstain, but since I can't abstain
Yeah.
tonight because there's only 3 of us, I'll vote and then I'll disclose it again with the town clerk,
yeah.
that I voted out of necessity.
Yeah, I think you're covered. All right, so I will make a motion to place and support Article 16.
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Article 17, road construction, repairs and maintenance. See if town will vote and appropriate $100,000 to road construction, repairs and maintenance account in order to fund the road construction, repairs and maintenance of town roads.
This dropped a little from last year just because of our budgetary constraints this year. However, we still have plenty of Chapter 90 money. This is just some of the materials we use
Okay.
that are not a Chapter 90.
Great. Do we have a motion to place and support?
Make a motion to place and support Article 17, road construction, repairs and
Do
maintenance.
we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Article 18, Public Access Department to appropriate $167,160. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to place and support Article 18, public access department.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Article 19, Sturbridge Tourist Association. The amount is $210,691. Do we have a motion to place and support?
Make a motion to place and support Article 19, Sturbridge Tourist Association.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? You guys have it.
Chair, Mr. Chair, as a future agenda item, I would like to talk a little bit more about how the STA views community support. Because there's been instances where they've may or may not have wanted, our view of community support may differ than their view of community support. Whether or not it has to be a tourist event to constitute community support. I feel like there's different ways of looking at that, and I think I'd like to know how they view it with the 65,000. That's not for tonight, but
Right.
it's.
If you email me and remind me to put it on an agenda.
Yeah.
Get that on an agenda. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Article 20, Betterment Community.
This was voted, this was voted by the Betterment Committee.
Wait, by what?
By the Betterment Committee.
Oh,
So
okay.
This is as presented by them. as
So
voted by them.
$210,000, line item as listed in the article. Questions or concerns from the board?
I just have a couple questions, not for tonight, but can you let us know which things were requested that did not, we were unable to, because sometimes it's hard to see, like,
So
you agree with all
yeah.
this, but it would be nice to know, there's 10 things that people requested, but they weren't granted.
That's a little hard because a lot of times they're vetted informally first before they even go to Betterment, and I say, no, we're not moving forward even on a
Okay, I'm
lot of
not
them.
as concerned with that, but what about the ones that
What
were
got voted?
formally presented?
Okay,
that
I don't
didn't?
think anything got denied, but I will check.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I think I cut it down and tried to narrow it before it got into a situation where Betterment was put in that sort of tricky spot if we had to be. But
Makes sense.
we worked with all the directors before we presented it as a package.
Great, anything else on Article 20 there?
No.
All right, do we have a motion?
Make a motion to place and support Article 20, Betterment Committee.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Article 21, Capital Improvement. To see if the town will vote and appropriate the sum of $767,580 to transfer to the ambulance stabilization fund, $157,000, capital stabilization fund, $110,000, for the purpose of funding the following items as listed therein. The largest being an ambulance for $450,000, site plan fuel tank replacement at DPW, library exterior program space. The total all in is $1,034,581.
This also obviously went through capital, and it went through the new program as outlined in the fiscal policies, where Barbara and I went through them initially, and then it moved through to capital, and these were voted by the capital committee.
Okay, do we have a
Can I
motion?
have a question? What is the exterior program for the library?
Oh, so this is partially to make it ADA compliant and have an outdoor patio, which will now allow for access from that end into the library. We have an ADA issue with that bottom door.
Right.
But it also will increase outdoor programming, story hours outdoors and whatnot. It's a patio project. So, yeah, it's actually pretty exciting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, and we did have a resident come forward, right, about a year,
Yes, yes.
several months back.
Supporting this.
supporting it and also pointing out that
The
our
ADA issues.
library should be ADA.
And this is a financially better way to do it, far less expensive than having to revamp the whole basement entrance, and offer services and programming in addition to making it ADA compliant.
Yeah, sounds like a win-win.
Yep.
All right, do we have a motion to place in support?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 21, Capital Improvement Plan.
Yep, second. All those in favor? Great. Article 22, school bus. To see if, vote to transfer $135,000, purchase a 77-person school bus. Any questions? Do we have a motion? Do
Make a motion to place and support Article 22, School Bus.
we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great.
The bus that's getting paid for through the regular budget, is it the same amount of money?
I think that's the same.
They're two
They're the same bus.
identical
Yeah, we just
buses?
split it for budget purposes.
Okay. Library elevator, $500,000 for the modernization of the Joshua High Public Library elevator. Any questions, concerns? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to place and support Article 23, Library Elevator.
Do we have a second? All those in favor?
Second, sorry.
No, I saw.
What is involved in modernizing an
Everything.
elevator? First of all, I don't like them at all anyway.
Yeah, everything,
Possible.
everything from the control panels, sometimes the pumps, sometimes the valves, sometimes the pistons. A minimal amount is the actual car itself.
Is it gonna be bigger or just
No,
on the same?
it's just all the,
size?
all the components, it'll be the same size. It's just all the guts of it. And you can't just replace one part, the problem is the electronic components today do not talk to the other components. So that's why you have to do much more. This modernization includes all of the equipment plus the electrical costs, the electrical engineering, the on-site people that have to be there, the elevator technicians, that's why it's as high as it is. It might come in a little less. The actual mechanics itself, I think, are around 300,000, and this just is enough to encompass everything. At the senior center will be less because we already have the project people on hand. It's already part of that contract. It's gonna be part of that contract. So it'll total in around $350 or $400, but some of the work we were gonna have to do anyway. This one is sort of standalone.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one that triggered us to realize that both elevators, when this one started failing, we realized, oh geez, they're both the same age.
Now, when they say they have failed several times, has anybody gotten stuck in them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh,
Yep.
that would be it for me. Okay, thanks.
Oh, yeah. Not for long, I mean, there's always someone in the building,
No,
and we
I
get them
get it,
out,
but-
but yes.
Unfortunately, it's not an uncommon
We,
occurrence with old
yeah,
elevators.
we have put Band-Aids on it to keep it going. I mean, we transferred reserve fund, so it is operational now, but the reality is, that's only gonna be for so long. And it's safe right now, but none of us are comfortable with the Band-Aids we put on it saying going for, and again, because that is our only handicapped access to the different floors of the library.
Well, and also is that it's the type of thing that elevators are expensive, and when you fix it, you might as well better fix it all the way, so, because otherwise it puts wear on other pieces of the elevator. Just
Kind of like tires on a car.
What's that?
Kind of like tires on the car.
Yeah, or a knee. So, all right,
The youngest one in the room, and he's talking about the knee.
I know, I know.
all right, do we have we already voted on that?
Yes.
Okay. But moving on to Article 24, capital stabilization. See if the town will vote to appropriate $222,000 to the capital stabilization fund. So this is just, where's this number come from?
This is a percentage of our operating budget. I have to fill in the total
It's-
number
okay,
down
it's
there.
0.5
But
is
it's what the fiscal policies have.
Okay, gotcha. So basically our present fiscal
Yep.
policies put aside 0.5.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to place in support?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 24, Capital Stabilization Fund.
Wait a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Ayes have it, 3-0. Okay. OPEB Trust Fund, $100,000 to the Post-Employment Benefits Liability Trust Fund.
Yep. That's in accordance with policies.
Any questions, concerns, comments? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to place and support Article 25, the OPEB Trust Fund.
There's a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Mary, in favor? Oh, yeah, I didn't
Oh,
see.
yeah, no, yes, my hand's up.
That was me and Fresh, I really just didn't see. All right, Article 26, reevaluation interim adjustments to see if the town will raise and appropriate $20,000 for reevaluation interim adjustments accounts. What is the reevaluation interim adjustments account? I don't recall.
What was that? Oh, we just have to always have money to do the annual reval.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
it.
It just stays in a separate fund and it has to be carved out like this.
Gotcha, all right, makes sense. Do you have any, we have questions, concerns, or motion?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 26, revaluation interim adjustments.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
I'm just curious, I mean, doesn't really matter, but see how the next one sponsor Board of Assessors?
Yep,
Why isn't that one Board of Assessors?
because
That seems
that's a
like-
state, that's a requirement, we have to do
Oh, that
that.
we have to
Yes, yeah,
sponsor
that-
it, not
yes,
the
it
board?
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't, well, that doesn't matter who sponsors it, it's not like a choice or it's just.
Oh, no, I
law.
get it,
Yeah.
I'm just curious why that's Board of Selectmen instead of Jean's group.
I don't think any reason other than it always is, and it's something that is more budget and broad town related, it's not really a policy of assessors.
Yeah, we would do it if the Board of
Right.
Assessors wanted us to as the executive, because we have to.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Article 27, veterans exempt, did we vote on that?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we voted on
Yep.
26.
All right. Keep throwing me with these post-vote
Sorry.
conversations. All right, Article 27.
So this is a new one from the Board of Assessors. They felt that they should grant a little more of an exemption to the veterans. This will not be refunded by the state, so this would be out of our overlay in the amount of about $47,000 total if every veteran that they believe, if everybody who could took advantage of it.
No, that's, it would help feel served. Do we have any questions, concerns? Do we have a motion to approve Article 27, veterans exemption?
So moved.
Oh, wait, place and support, sorry. my
Place and
fault.
support Article 27.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And we did take that into account when we did the budget, that this would, take this out of what we had.
Did we vote, Jamie?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sorry, I talked in the
So
middle of
it's,
it.
it's estimated, so the increase is 42,000?
Yeah, 42,300.
If everybody.
If everybody
eligible
took advantage of it, yep.
And I hope they do.
Yep.
Article 28, rescinding of chapter and use code. Rescind the provisions of the 2009 warrant articles 24, 25, and 26 regarding the classification of chapter 61 forest land, and 61B recreation land as open space rather than commercial property. So what's going on with this one?
Yeah, this is a requirement to just keep up with the state law. It reads a little funny. It concerned me a little bit that it sounds like it's commercializing open
Yeah,
space.
it's very strange.
But apparently, it's something we have to do by law with our chapter land, and it's, in order to submit certain things, Ann needs our wording to change to this. It doesn't impact the status of it, it doesn't impact its ability to be in chapter,
So wait, though, it's, if we have to, we have to do it, but.
yeah.
So it's saying that 61A and 61B regulation plans are open space and not commercial property, that's all?
Right, and see, if you look at the summary box, so for towns that have a split tax rate,
Gotcha.
it's
Okay,
different,
all right.
but because we don't have a split tax rate, they want us to consider it moving back into those 600, 700.
And it's
clauses.
really the agricultural, horticultural portion of that they're considering, because that has a commercial nature in some instances.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, do we have a motion to place and support Article 28?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 28, rescinding of chapter and use code.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
I don't totally get it. So we have to go back to our 2009 warrant article, and we rescind that
You
in
vote,
favor of,
right, you voted this in 2009.
Right.
And now you're just undoing that vote and
okay.
reclassifying.
Who caught this? Who,
I think it was a new directive that came out
oh,
through Ann. Board of Assessors.
Through
Yeah.
Ann, through the Board of
Yep.
Assessors.
Okay. All right, okay, I'm just rereading it, sorry.
Yeah,
It's very
it's
strange.
very hard to read the wording on, and this language came directly from them as we.
I mean, it's fine for tonight, but can you get a little?
I'll get you further
guidance from
yeah.
KP,
I
because
don't
it's a little
totally
weird,
get-
and I just don't want, like,
Yeah, we can always reopen and you can revote it if you want to down the road.
I'm
but-
not too worried, I mean, I'm not worried about the Board of Assessors trying to get something by.
No, I just don't like the, yeah, well, I'm concerned about it if it becomes with, if there's something else going on with energy siting.
Yeah, that's
It
more
makes
where
me a little.
you're anticipating my concerns.
Yeah, and so let me find out more. I let it go through because it's a state, this is what the state is telling
Yeah,
us to
but
do.
let's get a
but-
little bit more info on that one.
Yeah.
So maybe we should not vote it yet.
We
I think we
could,
already did, didn't we?
Oh.
yeah, we can motion to reconsider. If I provide information that you want to reconsider that, we can reopen and reconsider it.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Or you can vote to take no action.
we've already voted.
Yeah.
It's most likely fine. If we change our mind between now and town meeting, we can change our minds. between
Yeah.
now and
Maybe you
town
can
meeting.
get just a little one-page memo.
I'll get
from
you-
Ann-
yeah.
From Ann to explain it.
I will, and I'll also poke around with my other small town administrators and see if they've got any red flags.
Yeah, and
going
when it
with
says directive, is that, a firm requirement that we did it?
Yeah, because it doesn't
As
reference a
opposed
statute. Yeah.
To,
Right.
they advise it.
Well, and yeah, because it didn't come out of the legislature, it came out of the Bureau of Local Assessment.
So that seems to me that so I don't, listen, we'll leave it as it is
Yep.
now, because there's no reason to revisit it, but I'm a
There's
little,
something prickly about it.
yeah, it doesn't sound right to me. It's like, why are we cross-designating in that fashion? And I understand that I can see a way that is totally benign, but I could also see a way where it is, we just end up with farms that switch over to solar fields.
Because it also says consideration should be given to moving the chapter land back. So I'm not convinced that it's a hard requirement as opposed to advisory.
Apparently, it has to do with how she's able to submit when it goes in, but let me find out
Yeah,
more,
just
because there was,
explain it to us.
yeah.
I'm
I may
sure
have
it's
Ann
fine,
even,
and if there's an
I'll have Ann
issue,
write
we'll-
something up for you, but
It's just what,
Yep.
yeah, I'm sure it's above board, but, because Ann's super above board. But
well, it
the-
could be above, but what could be done with it is more what I'm
Yeah,
concerned
it's
about.
like one of these things where they tell you to do X, Y, and Z as the best practice, and then that's leading to A, B, and C, which is not ideal for our community. But regardless, let's keep moving. Article 29, revolving funds, spending limits, FY '26.
Only change is the pay-as-you-throw program has been increased just because we have more in and out there.
Okay.
What was it? How much did it
It
go
was
up?
20,
10,000?
I believe it was 20 and change, it went up a significant amount.
Oh, so we tripled it.
Yeah, but we also are putting, we've reassessed a little bit of the health agent, he's now the director of public health's salary, because there was not anything coming out of these revolving funds for his work, and realistically, there should be. And so the pay-as-you-throw program is part of his job, so a portion of his salary's in there, so we reorganized a lot of that. And this came with the Board of Health's support.
Right.
Linda's
I don't have a
support.
problem
Yeah.
with it, but I just,
Yep.
for our next meeting.
Yep.
Would like to know, since
yeah,
it tripled.
I'll get you the exact-
What
yeah.
portion, like, how much has his salary changed?
Yeah, it's not just that, it's a lot, also the bags and all
No,
that
no, I
stuff.
know.
Yeah.
Just the
Yep.
breakdown,
Yep.
though, because it's such a big increase.
Yep.
Okay, with that, do we have a motion to place in support?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 29, revolving funds, spending limits, fiscal year '26.
Do we have a second? All those in favor? Ayes have it. Okay, Article 30, landfill and grading, compacting. See if the town will appropriate $136,000.
Yep, so I think I had mentioned this to you before. This is a requirement environmentally that we need to do, but it also is not wasted work if we do decide to move forward with closing the landfill. We're gonna have to close it in 7 or 8 years. I'm suggesting that we consider maybe doing it in 3 or 4 years, because it's gonna take 3 years to close it anyway, so why are we doing all of this and paying to keep it for 3 years when we know we're gonna have to close it anyway? This work would have to be done regardless, and so we can use the account designated for closure, because this is the same area that would have to be graded and lifted and raised for us to close. So it works both ways, whether we kept it open forever or we close it, but this would be part of a future closure.
Okay,
and needed currently.
makes sense to me. Any questions from the board? Do we have a motion to place and support Article 30?
I make a motion to place and support Article 30, landfill grading and compacting.
Here a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
I'm sorry, Jamie, can I ask one more question?
Of course.
About something that went by.
Yeah.
On the revolving fund, Sturbridge Farmers Market has 10 of its own. It's still going through the Recreation Committee's oversight, though?
Yes, it's still under rec.
Okay.
Yes.
How come that's just not part of the Rec's revolving fund then?
Because it's separate in the sense that the program is very specific to that. So it keeps it much cleaner and separate. When we first started that, we had kept the farmer's market as its own entity under recreation. But that's the money that goes in for the vendors, from the vendors, anything that comes in goes out. If we blur it with recreation and programs, I just think it's not as clean.
Okay. Did we do this last year?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, yeah, this was established, we had a separate vote to establish a new revolving fund.
Okay.
2 years ago, I think, actually. Was it last year? Might be last year.
Moving on to Article 31, Cedar Street Sidewalk Project.
Yep.
We free cash this sum of $20,000. You authorize us to take the land by eminent domain?
Yep, so this is surveying for that work. We had a neighborhood meeting. All the neighbors who came were in favor. We sent plans back with neighbors who couldn't make it to the meeting. This is the Complete Streets grant that we had. And when we did the survey work, the initial engineering work, what we found is there would be a significant portion, or some people it's a tiny piece, other people it's a significant piece of property that we're gonna have to take to do this for easements. So it's not so much eminent domain, but easements. Right now, it's all cooperative and voluntary, so.
Is this including the grant that we ended up filing late, but they
Yeah, this is
allowed-
all part of that same,
Okay,
this is
so
that
it's
project.
so it goes all the way to Burgess?
This is from, this is up to the corner, and then Burgess Road in is a different one.
Yeah, not Burgess Road in, but
Right.
for a while, we didn't know if we were gonna be
Right,
able
we
to
got
do
that,
a
no,
portion.
we got that money held back for us, and so we've started the work.
Okay, so that is included in this
project.
warrant article?
That is what this is all
Oh,
about.
that is this one.
That's this one.
Okay, thank
So
you.
20,000 of this is free cash separate from the grant. The grant will be to actually do some of that work, but this is to get the easements. This is basically the paperwork, the legal fees.
Okay, so awesome, so I knew we applied, but I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah,
that
no,
we
they
actually
did,
got-
they did extend
Okay, so
us.
thank you for that, because
Yep.
I know that was like
Yeah,
a
no, they
rush.
extended us, yep.
Okay.
Great. All right, do we have a motion to place and support Article 31?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 31, Cedar Street Sidewalk Project.
All those in favor? Great.
32 and 33.
For holds.
Ask me to take no action
Yeah,
tonight,
we're
yeah.
gonna take no action on 32 or 33 until we have the relevant numbers, unless somebody has an issue with that. All right, hearing nothing, I'm moving on to Article 34, sewer project debt betterments. So the transfer the sum of $121,800 for the sewer betterments of Big out of the sewer debt account. So listed in $44,200 from the Woodside Westwood sewer debt account. Any questions? All right, do we have a motion to place and support Article 34?
I'll make a motion to place and support Article 34, sewer project debt betterments.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Article 35, stormwater MS4 compliance. See if the town will transfer $100,000 to bring a stormwater, for our stormwater MS4 permit. Right?
Pretty much an unfunded state mandate,
Yeah.
so.
All right.
good
do we have-
cause, though.
Yeah, it's a good one, but it's
Still
frustrating.
an unfunded mandate.
So, do we have a motion to place and support?
Motion to place and support Article 35, stormwater MS4 compliance.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
The next 10 articles, 36 through 46,
Mhm.
are all planning articles. They are all either cleanup or compliance with the new accessory dwelling unit. So I don't know if you want to vote them as a block or how you want.
Has everybody on the board reviewed them?
I reviewed them. Can you just give a real quick
Yeah, so
summary?
the state, for housing reasons, passed a new law that basically requires all of us at the local level to expand some of our accessory dwelling unit language. Some of it makes it easier to put an apartment, for example, in a residential zone. It allows for small housing additions, if you will, primarily. But this tweaks all of those articles to comply with the law. We don't really have much choice, and then some of the other is cleanup language. There's no
Yeah.
major zoning changes or anything like that.
I read them, I don't have much to say, assuming compliance with the state law, which,
And planning did,
I do.
obviously has vetted and voted these.
Yeah, I didn't mean it in
Yeah.
a suspicious way.
No, but
Um,
just so you're all aware.
So anybody want to oppose to voting these as a block?
Okay, I get
I'm
it.
not opposed.
I'm not opposed to these, I was just reading, they will no longer have to go, so if they have a pre-existing non-conforming parcel, they can add a shed, pool, garage without going back and getting permission.
Yeah.
Right?
This is,
It frees up some stuff on.
this is what the state does instead of rehabbing old buildings.
I was gonna refrain from editorializing, but since you did. Okay.
Anyways, my sassiness aside, do we have any, I'm going to move to place and support Article 36, Article 37, Article 38, Article 39, Article 40, Article 41, Article 42, Article 43, Article 44, Article 45, and Article 46.
So moved.
Mary?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, on to the special,
Close that.
well, I was gonna close both of them
Okay,
together, but.
okay, no, that's fine.
Do we have a motion to close the annual town meeting warrant?
I'll make a motion to close the annual town meeting warrant.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. All right,
So
so
I
we'll
will bring
read.
that back to you with water sewer.
Yeah, and bring it, and the questions asked specifically about the,
That agricultural land.
yeah, the assessor's issue.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to Article 43, snow and ice deficit.
For special, where they close the annual, the special has a different numbering system. No problem. It makes no sense.
It picks up from where the other special one.
Last year's
was.
special, it picks up special to special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Article 43, snow and ice removal deficit.
We don't have final numbers yet, so we never really know. Yeah. No, you.
Oh, no, you have to give us.
Yeah, we don't.
I'll
know
move,
until
I'll move
Tuesday.
to place and support Article 43, snow and ice removal deficit.
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Article 44, unpaid bills. I move to place and support Article 44, unpaid bills of a previous year.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 45, unpaid bills of a previous year. Wait, what?
Different funding source, so it had to have two separate articles.
Oh, I say one's free cash. This one being the Sturbridge Tourism Association, the previous one being free cash. With that, I vote to approve Article 45, unpaid bills of a previous year, 9/10 vote required.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 46, purchase of a 10-wheel dump truck. See if the town will transfer from free cash the sum of $480,000 for the purpose of a 10-wheel dump truck with plow and slide and sander.
This would have normally gone into the capital budget. The capital committee did look at these and was supportive of it, but we put it into the special because we need to get these orders in quickly. The supply is not going to be there if we wait.
Okay, and that's the same as true with Article
Same as
47?
47, yes.
So Article 47 is for $383,000. Article 46 is for $480,000. 46 is 10 wheels. Article 47 is 6 wheels. I move to place and support Article 46 and 47.
Second.
All those in favor? Right, the ayes have it. All right. Transfer.
Because we're worried about the electricals.
Yes. And the competition to get these things.
Got it.
Yeah.
That we discussed, as we previously discussed. Article 48, transfer funds from free cash to the insurance reimbursement account in the amount of $2,994,017. Any questions or concerns?
No.
All right, do we have a motion?
Motion to place and support Article 48, transfer funds from free cash to the insurance reimbursement account.
I'll second. All those in favor? Article 49, 250th birthday celebration, to see if the town will vote to transfer the free cash of the sum of $10,000 for events surrounding the national 250th birthday celebration in 2026.
Yep, so this is just a little bit of funding. We have a 250th committee together, and I'm forwarding them some grant opportunities, but it would be nice to have a little bit of seed money to help cover the cost of the celebration.
All right, Mary Lou, don't waste it.
Are you on it? Do we, is it full now? Do you have everybody you want?
It's full. We added, Sandra Quigley will be adding to it
Okay.
in April. We've kept it kind of open. This is one of those that I don't mind having
They're on
a
it.
good number of committee members.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of neat to have a lot of ideas. They've already come up with some really interesting, $2.50, so celebrating the 250th, like, drink nights or whatever else we can encourage, and not that we're encouraging drinking. Wow.
$2.50 drink.
Wow, yeah, well, some type of a, happy hour, celebrate the
I know, I
country for
think that's,
$2.50 appetizers and drinks.
I think-
But no, but they are coming up with some creative things to look at,
That's
and some grant funding, and if we can have a little seed money, I think it would be helpful.
Yeah, no, we should, I think this would be exciting.
Yeah.
Do we know what is the actual
Well, so it'd be
incorporation date?
So there would be the celebration officially would be the 4th of 26. But
2026.
whether it's not, we want to have like a monthly event leading up, or 1 or 2 big kickoff events, or a big hoo-ha on the 4th, or the week before the 4th, or,
That's fine.
yep,
All right, so 4th of July, 2026, everybody hold their calendars.
hold your calendar.
Okay,
Can I vote on this?
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not taking any of this money, Mary Liz. I'm gonna make a motion to place and support Article 49, 250th birthday celebration.
Second.
All those in favor? All right.
This one, I have a copy paste error on the last one, but you could still vote it with the fact that the summary box, it's a scrivener's, the summary box is accurate.
I saw that. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Project decommission 2 separate wells and drill a new well. One of the 2 wells was crushed under a falling tree and decommissioned. A new well will be drilled, up gradient, and replace it. The second was replaced years ago.
So it'd be 20,000 for well decommissioning and replacement.
Okay,
In the
yeah,
language.
yeah,
Yeah.
enough there. So,
Yeah.
all right, I will move to place and support, Article 50 monitoring wells for the amount of $20,000. With that, it's made.
Second.
All those in favor? Right. Okay, I will move to adopt the provisions of GLC Chapter 200A, Section 9A. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have all of those in favor? Great.
Before we go into executive session, just a reminder on that warrant for Lynn, all, the 8 things need to be signed.
Okay.
So just as a reminder, before we go, I just want
Yeah,
to
we're
say
not
that
quite there yet,
publicly.
but
Yeah,
we'll
but
get
just so
there.
you're aware.
Okay,
yeah.
great. All right, old business, Mary Lou,
No, nothing.
any new?
No.
All right, Mary Dowling, old business,
No,
any new?
not tonight.
I have neither either. All right, correspondence, we have some.
Looks like we've got a letter from Ocean State Job Lot regarding a compromise in lieu of suspension. Department of Energy Resources, a Green Communities grant application. Department of Telecommunication and Cable, license renewal with Charter Communications.
Al Menard is on that. We will be sending him a letter giving them our status, which is what that letter asks for.
All right,
And
great.
this Ocean State Job Lot,
They had an issue, they worked with the ABCC and chose to pay a fine, and they're fine.
okay, so they're no longer looking,
They're fine, they're back
Yeah,
to
I
business.
saw.
Oh.
Very good.
okay.
Okay, minutes. All right,
We have to put March 3rd on hold. I was not here.
You also have to put the 20th because Jamie was absent. So,
great, the minutes are done.
oh, no, wait, can you have a majority of the quorum?
I mean, I would just
I mean,
wait, there's
yeah.
no reason to.
I think you actually can. I mean, I think could have, I'm
think-
glad I'll disclose on the budget, but I actually think if you have a quorum, a majority of the quorum is enough, correct?
I don't know, that, I think you're right.
I think so, because otherwise
I
defeats the
think you're right,
purpose.
because then you could, yeah, then technically, we couldn't have voted any of these down tonight.
Right.
If, let's say it'd been 2-1,
Yeah, logically, you're right, but then again,
but for
Yeah.
minutes, it's,
Yeah,
there-
minutes,
there's no,
it's-
doesn't,
I
yeah, it's
don't
not
see the reason to
earth-shattering.
do that unless you.
And we'll let them review, the other people review them too, so.
All right, citizen forum, we have one citizen. Would you like to say anything?
Thanks for coming, MC.
All right, then we are going to ask you to leave because we are going into executive session. Yeah, so,
You get kicked out of this one.
yeah,
kicked
Mary,
Nothing that exciting.
I will move pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, subparagraph 1, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health, rather than professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. And 2 reasons for executive session.
executive.
And I also, well, should we vote on one, or do I
I
make the
think you
motion
could put
for
them
both?
together, yeah.
And executive session pursuant to paragraph 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect in the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, per Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21-6, to consider the purchase, exchange, and lease or value of real property, if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect in the negotiating position of the public body.
so declared. All right, Mary Lou, how do you, oh, wait, and not to,
Oh, and not to reconvene in open session.
yeah. Mary Lou, how do you
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we are.